All right, welcome back to Off the Tap. This week is episode 35, and we are doing Leinenkugel Toasted Bock, which is a new one that I'd never heard of that we found at the store randomly.
I think for me this is episode 3 to 5, so it kind of fits, right?
Yeah, there you go. Somewhere in the middle there.
uh,
Yeah, I didn't know that this was even a thing. We just kind of stumbled upon this, which is, I guess, is how a lot of it goes, but still.
I've only known Leinenkugel for the shandies, right? A liney baby, right? The summer shandy is kind of their claim to fame, at least for me. I didn't know that they actually did a toasted Bach or anything else for that matter, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the Shandies, and then you recently made me try their Oktoberfest, which was also good. We
Ah,
didn't we
yes.
didn't do on the podcast because time constraints, but uh,
That's that's Katie's favorite. Not that she's a huge beer drinker, but seasonally during Oktoberfest, she does always get down on the
the Liney.
Lion Cool. Yeah, on the liney.
I always make
Which
want to make the joke from Austin Powers, where he's like, "Hands off my hiney, baby," but I want to do
get
it with
off
the Liney,
get off my liney, baby.
you know.
Um, I'll say another thing that's kind of funny is we also recently, I guess, right just before we hit record, but Jacob, it's actually Jacob Lion Kugel Brewing Company.
Yeah, I didn't know that
Hint,
until I googled it.
hence the possessive Lion Kugels. So it's owned
Uh,
by this is Lion Kugel's Bach. Jacob's the one that's brewing it.
right, so it's kind of a double possessive.
Yes. I'm not quite sure how that works, but yeah.
Well, it'd
What
be
do you mean?
Jacob Leinenkugel Brewing Company's Leinenkugel's Toasted Bock.
Yes.
All right,
I,
technically.
I maybe they only employ people named Jacob. Anyways, here we go on the pour.
All right, let's get into it.
So I believe here's what's funny about this. I believe uh, that a Bock is historically a summer beer, correct?
I think so. I believe
So
so.
season. I like the way that what happened was is that seasonally folks up north were like, "Hey, winter's setting in." They were like, "Where is there still perpetual summer?" So they just shipped all of it to Texas.
Yeah, all the leftovers were just shipped down yonder.
They won't know the difference.
I also have written down here that it is a 5.1 ABV
Hmm.
and a 21 IBU.
So the bottle does show the 5.1 to be accurate. Um, Jacob Leinenkugel Brewing Company out of Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin / Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Hmm. So this
Uh, what was the
IBU
IBUs on
wise,
that?
21,
21.
which is 6 points higher than the Crawford Bach.
Really?
Yeah, which I can kind of see. Crawford Bach is more of a crisp Bach to me.
I mean, it's fairly dark. It's darker than, the average Bach. That should be their slogan. Darker
it
than the average Bach.
it almost looks like coffee,
Mm.
like a dark coffee.
No, man, like a shitty translucent gas station coffee.
Yeah,
It's pretty good though.
it is good. I did. I just took a sip myself.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. Um, I say that a lot, and I'm pretty transparent, so I'm always honest. But whew,
Mm,
this
that's a
thing
good
could
one.
make a run.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I will say that I'm not getting a good smell of it because I just smell beer bottle. Because Leinenkugel doesn't come in can, as far as I know.
I don't. I think the Shandies do.
I've never
Um,
seen a Liney in a can, man.
Really, I think they make them like specifically for river floaters. I don't know if that's something that they do up
A,
there.
but if it's not, they should. Can you
You mean
imagine the marketing for that?
like all the time or just seasonally? Like, what do you mean?
Just like, obviously the time for a shandy is like spring, summer. Well, really summer, but I consider spring as well, just because of weather.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, that just seems like good marketing to introduce a can if they haven't,
I
or
mean,
just
I
to
think
market their cans that way.
I think it's basically just for I don't know, man. That's a whole like different process within their system. But I mean, still, I guess you could have somebody else co-can it. I don't know if that's a thing, but co-can it. Coke
Man,
can it. Uh-huh. Nobody. All right.
this
Moving on.
this is a really good beer, man.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit shocked at I don't want to say shocked, but I want to say like I'm a little I didn't expect it to be that approachable right out of the bottle. You know what I'm saying? Like I was expecting to be
Yeah.
like, ah,
Now, Bocks are arguably my favorite. So, um, I guess I kind of have more of a taste for a Bach, so I'm going to be more sided toward liking a Bach, I feel like. Um, but even that being said, I mean, the Crawford has been my favorite since it's come out for multiple reasons, but really I enjoy the taste of it considerably. But this is up there, man.
yeah, I would say too. I don't know if they have maybe there's variations too. This is the toasted Bach. I don't know if that's just branding on their Bach in general, or if they have some variations of Bach. I don't know what's lending to it being toastable. But I would have to take a look and see.
All right, yeah. So we missed last week, unfortunately, because timing kind of didn't work out for us. We tried to schedule to record the podcast on a different day due to the World Series happening, but then the World Series got shifted. We didn't really find time, but I mean, it worked out for us, you know.
Yeah, so I almost hope, let's hope for the long run of this, right? That next year, and I'm going to say when we're doing this to the ever widening audience that's capturing this weekly. But anyways, as we do that next year, maybe it'll become a superstitious thing. So when we're in the World Series next year, you see how I set this up?
We don't
We
record.
won't be able to record the for any actually of the final series, right? I don't think we.
No, yeah, we didn't for any of it. So
Yeah.
did it work? You know that they got the rain out on Monday that for the Monday game, and so it pushed all the games back a day, and we weren't able to really we wouldn't be able to get it out on time, so it was just a let's wait kind of thing.
Did you confirm rain out? Did you see any pictures or anything? Like I just have to because they tried to do that during the Yankee series, right?
Yeah, I didn't really see anything personally, but I know that it did not rain as hard as it did in the Padres and Phillies series in Game Five that they
Yeah.
still played in Philly and that the
Mm.
Padres lost. So Padres fans have a very valid reason to be mad about that, in my
But
opinion.
when did the rain start though? Or did it start before the Phillies Padres game or like mid game?
I don't know honestly because I wasn't watching it. Well, I mean,
Also,
I watched like the very end of it, but I didn't watch the whole game.
also, do you think that gives a competitive advantage? Because I mean, if both teams are having to play through it.
No, I don't,
Yeah.
but it creates a very unfortunate circumstance. And it's not the fact that it's wrong. It's the fact that it was a less, it wasn't as bad of a storm and they canceled it for a World Series game.
Uh,
Like
well,
that's what I mean.
it's probably because they had been given all kinds of shit about what went down with the Padres series. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could have been. It could have been. That's true. But regardless, it didn't really matter. We came out on top again, two time.
Yeah. Also, one thing that I'll mention is, throughout the whole, at least the final game. Well, actually, once we made it back to Houston, right? So picked up two games, split them the first two games, and then lost the first one when we got to Philly in a horrendous way. Thankfully, you know, Mattress Mack had our back.
Yeah,
But anyways, um, ended up picking up the two wins to come back to Houston. And just as soon as the broadcast was over from the last game that was in Philly, it was like, no one's won in home for I don't remember how long it is, but it's like historically a
since
long time.
2013, since
Oh,
the
I
Red
thought it was
Sox did
further
it.
back. I thought it
No,
was
but it
further
was
back
nine
than that.
years. That's still crazy. The past 9 years, the World Series has been won in the away stadium.
Yeah.
That's still pretty crazy to think about. But nonetheless, man, it. Oh man, it feels so glorious to be up here. You know what I mean? It
It
really
did feel,
does.
and it's a lot of people. It was crazy for me because I think there was a poll. I don't know. At least I saw it on Instagram. I don't know how factual that is, but there was a poll that said that like 80% of the U.S. was pulling for the Padres. I mean, sorry, for the Phillies.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
And well, I mean, I get it. All the stuff with 2017, which obviously we have to hear about every single game from every single person. But like, I just don't see how that could be the case. And if that is the case, that, like that's fine. But the Phillies, really? Uh,
Yeah, it was more of a lesser of two evils, I guess, in a lot of people's eyes. You know. Um,
Yeah, it really has that election vibe. Huh? Speak of the
yeah,
devil. But anyways,
pretty
yeah.
much. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, man. Superstition wise, I was in a rough place this whole last week, man. Uh,
Why was it thrown off because of the one game hiccup or what?
no, man. I was just, I was doing some things in the last of the postseason before the World Series, the ALDS and ALCS that I thought were working, but then we got to the World Series and things just changed. The things that I was doing for those series weren't working. Like didn't work in the first game at least. Um, but I figured it out, man. I had a few things going in all four games that we won, and I'll stand by that.
Wait, what was that?
I had a few things going in all four of the games that we won,
Yeah.
and I'll stand by them. I had a particular hat on. I had some medical stuff on, one. I had my catheter and stuff on one side of my chair,
Yeah.
particularly. Um, the one thing that I thought was going to affect me more, superstition wise, was where I watched it. But I decided early on that I was just going to pick whatever my head said first that was the right answer. And that's what I did, man. Game
It
one
was
and game three, I forced myself to watch it in the same spot that I watched the rest of the playoffs, and we lost those games. All the other
ooh.
four games, I was like, where do I want to watch it? And I first thing that came to my mind, that's where I watched it, and we won all those games.
So maybe the superstition isn't so much being in the same place with the same setup, but it's trusting your gut every time,
For
right?
me, that's what it was in the World Series, I guess, man.
So we kind of had a rhythm. Uh, Actually, I don't want to say a solid rhythm, but like I think I watched like one game downstairs like at night. Actually, no, the first night Katie and I went out, so it was like a date night, and so we were at like True Lux across town, and there was no like they had a TV in the bar, but like there was like one TV, and it was like super dimly lit. And so I would like get up, like I said, to like go to the bathroom or like go grab a drink or whatever and catch it, updates. And there were guys in the bar that were like, you know, having like smoked cocktails watching the game or whatever. But I didn't catch any of that one. The loss, obviously, I watched at home. But anyways, when they went to Philly, we had like a routine. Well, aside from the one day that was rescheduled, but we had a routine. Like we would bathe the kids, we would go upstairs, we would pop popcorn, keep them occupied with popcorn and pickles, and we would let them stay up until probably, like probably an hour past bedtime, and then we would put them
Ooh,
down. Yeah, and so then
ooh,
we would put them down, and I would stay up there and finish the game. And it had some success, right? We lost the
right.
one game that was terrible, but then threw the no, and then ended up with the kind of nail biter. And so I say that because that was a very stressful game, obviously. Then we come back to Houston. So we're back in Houston and we're going through our routine. Like we bathe the kids and it's on a Saturday night. So I'm like, screw it if they're gonna stay up till whenever. But we bathe the kids, we pop the popcorn, we go up. They're about done at like 7:15. Like they're just falling out at 7:15. And honestly, in the back of my head, I was like, come on, you guys gotta push till like 8:30, otherwise you're gonna screw up the system, right?
Yeah,
They
right.
didn't. Um, and then the guys down the street texted me and were like, hey, we're projecting it on the garage if you want to come down and watch. And I was at a crossroads. I was like, I can't do that. I can't do that and screw up the rhythm. But you know what clicked in my head? Like there was zero stress. I don't know if for you, but going into the game, the obviously because we have one more left, right? But there was zero stress, and I even told him when I got down there, I'm like, I feel guilty. Like I feel like I should be more tense, but I was super relaxed going into that game. I don't know if it was a confidence thing, and I was also breaking the whole superstition by not watching it upstairs with all the kids are passing out. I walked down the street and it worked out. But I mean, it was weird to me that it was a weirder feeling. Like I didn't have the stress that I had in every other postseason, even if it was like a ALDS or something series from over the past couple of years. I just didn't have that stress on my shoulders walking into Saturday's game.
After we won that nail biter game 5 in
Mm.
Philly, I that's when I realized that's when I realized that it was the hat I was wearing, you know?
Huh.
That's when
Right.
it clicked in my head. So on Saturday, I we're getting ready to watch the game and I put the hat on and immediately my body just relaxed a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, we got Fromber on the mound. They can't touch him. They can't.
Well, I wasn't nervous at all, but like the thing is, so many people had, I don't want to say superstitions, but so many people had different like preconceived, like pre-planned. Like I wasn't stressed. There was the guy that was like lives next door to the neighbor's house that we watched it at. By the way, he runs the United crews that bring the teams back. He works for the airport. And so
Mm,
like he sees the teams when they get back. He had pictures with the trophy in 2017. He'll probably get him this year too. But anyways,
okay.
so he he um he was like, yeah, I mean, like it's not that I don't want to watch, but like we know it's going to be the fifth or the seventh inning. Like that's when things are going to pop off, right? Like already had that programmed in his head, right? So
Yeah.
everybody had a lot of confidence in Frommer, but just knew like the fifth or the seventh. And I think actually this happened in the sixth, right? But
All
anyways,
right, but right in that gap.
right in that gap when it was going to happen. But it was just crazy how everybody was had a level of calmness about them and pre-programming as far as superstition. But that neighbor that projected it had like the throwback, like '90s like jersey on, and when he went in the fifth inning. By the way, held the need to pee for like 3 full innings, which is a long time in baseball. But he was like, screw it, I gotta go. Goes inside, and then literally as he walks out that's when things started popping off. And guess what he was in? He was in the orange that he's worn all the rest of the season.
So that's when
So
Schwarber hit the bomb, or is that when Jordan hit the bomb?
no, that's when Jordan hit the bomb. So whenever the
Okay.
timing was for that, was that the seventh,
No, it was the sixth.
sixth?
Schwarber
Yeah,
led off the sixth with a home run, and then
correct.
Fromber shut down 2, 3, and 4. And then we came up. Maldi got hit by a pitch. Altuve, fielder's choice. Pena single. Jordan bomb.
Yeah.
450 over the batter's eye. Never seen anything like it.
So
Absolute tank, dude.
next question then, you know, the MVP is awarded for the series, but
Yep.
how do you feel about Pena being awarded versus Jordan? If you look, I don't know, I go back and forth because if you look at the whole series, both of them obviously were carrying more than their weight. And I think a lot of folks will attest to that.
I think I mean, I think Pena was by far definitely is either Pena or Bregman. Honestly, in my opinion, Jordan won us Game 6, right? He won
Yeah.
us the important game, but Pena had a 6 game hitting streak in the World Series. He got a hit in every single game. He made defensive plays, and he got his hits when it mattered. That was the
Yeah.
difference. He was putting them right up the middle, going opposite field if he needed to. He had the
Did you see
bomb
that?
in game 5, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, the bomb in
They
game
put him.
5 to put us
He
up
had
2-1.
I think he had every ribby in five. Pretty sure.
You might be right. I know he had the first two for a fact. I don't
Well,
remember
and
the
then
third one.
well, yeah, I think he advanced Altuve on a because he had the bomb, right? Which was that a single or was that a double? I don't remember. I mean, was that a single or a 2 run homer? I don't remember at this point.
It was a solo shot because it put us up 2-1.
Okay. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's just fun. Yeah, it's just funny the superstitions that people walk in with. And did you see that he got fitted for his custom grill today?
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
did. Yeah. Man, all of it was great. I watched the parade on Monday, yesterday for us, but Monday for listeners, and it was glorious. The team was absolutely crapping on everybody, like not Astros fans, but like the team was on the floats and they were chanting "We want Houston" like to the crowd and stuff. I think Ryan Stanek was holding a shirt up that said "Ho's mad" with the Astros H over the
Where
Astrodome.
where is he from? Is it from Kentucky, Missouri or Kentucky or something like
I
that?
have no idea where that guy's from, man. I know that he played for Miami before this, but I don't
Yeah, I
know. I
guess
don't know where he's from.
Florida might be an option. He just has that Florida, Missouri trash build. You know what I mean?
Oh well, he's got the hair. You know what I mean? It's the
Yeah.
gut and the hair combo that makes you think it's somewhere over there. You know what I mean?
Um, yeah, dude. Also, I was trying to explain today. It's funny what gets publicized outside of the city. Everyone. So whenever it happened, all the folks from work were texting me, especially the Baltimore guys, because they kind of won a little bit through Mancini. Like
Right.
that's
Which
as close as Baltimore's getting. Anyway, they texted me, congrats. Like obviously they're anti-Philly fans, but what I had to do the rest of the time between really game six, yeah, basically between that game and then today, all I've had to explain to everyone that I've talked to from all over on virtual calls all over the states is who Mattress Mack is. Like that's what I've been explaining more than anything. And I was
right.
like, let me give you the history. And they're like, he was riding on the flag. Does he work for the team? I was like, well, kinda. I mean, not really, but kinda.
I mean, essentially, a little bit.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's pulling more PR/marketing weight than like the bulk of the people that they staff. So like, I don't know. But anyways, had to explain like him as his progression, what he does in the city. I was telling them, I don't know if this was a thing when like you were like younger, but like I remember we would go to people's like people when we were young, we would go to people's houses and they would be like, "Yeah, we just got this whatever this chair from Gallery Furniture." And we would like just go and stare at this chair. It was like just bro, you got that from Mattress Mack, And
Well,
like that was just a thing. Like maybe it was a status symbol, like maybe it was like your parents made it, but also it was like, dude, like Mattress Mack made this chair, bro. Like and you got it in your house. I don't know.
I don't remember necessarily doing that, but I do remember when my dad got the couch and the chair from there,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just a huge deal because we've all made the trip down to Gallery Furniture and we were all hanging out. And there was like I don't know if it's still in there because I haven't been in there literally since then. I think I was like 3 or 4 maybe, but
That speaks to the quality of the furniture, doesn't it? Anyway, go ahead.
that's true. I mean, it still to this day is in there, but
Solid wood made in America. But go
there
ahead.
was there was there was like a kid zone, like a kid
Yeah.
play area. And so you go in there, and my dad just sent me in there to play while he bought the couch and stuff. And then we got home, and he, still to this day doesn't let people put their feet on it. It's like 20 years old, 23 years old.
Well, here's the thing about it is, so I was explaining to everyone, they were like, "What could be so good about this furniture place?" So I gave him the story. Mac had a little bit of a rough pass back in the Gap, but like
Right.
his new addiction became philanthropy, which is great, and gambling. But that's it's working out.
Well,
So, anyways,
hold on really quick on that note. We were talking about that, and I was like, he really didn't gamble though, right? Because the only money that he gambled was the money that he got from all the furniture sales.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So either way, like it's a win-win for him, but it's a win-lose for the customers. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I guess so. But
So
I
he's
mean,
not really gambling necessarily.
technically, but he could have lost $10 million in profit. Like, you know.
I mean, yeah, but he still is breaking even. It's not like it's hurting him any, you know?
Here's what I would like to know. Like, did he have some bets hedged on the Phillies? Like, did he have just like 3 mil sitting on the Phillies, like just in case?
I don't think so,
Do you think?
man. I don't think
I mean,
so.
he genuinely seems like the truest Houstonian, so I doubt it. Like he over his dead body, right?
Yeah.
Which I do worry about a little bit. His health just doesn't seem all that
Yeah.
great. Um,
Yeah, but he was ready to go in Philly.
oh yeah.
He was ready to throw hands.
So I had to explain all that, and they were so here's what was mind blowing to everyone. They were like, "So you mean to tell me that like that's the way he communicated with the fans in their stadium, and that ended up being good PR for him?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, I don't know how he does it. He's just capable of taking that little gem and molding it into a diamond for himself." Um, because I feel like anyone else, they would have been like that profanity in front of children, but they're like, "That's Max got our back, boy," you
Yeah,
know?
people were editing him to look like a thug afterwards, bro. Putting
Oh,
like
dude,
bandanas and chains and stuff on him.
did I show you the tat that the guy got?
Yeah, yeah. Someone
Yeah,
got it tatted on him.
yeah. It's basically like a Tupac, but Jim McIndale. Um,
Yeah,
So what's so funny? I was also explaining to him too. What's so
it's two
hilarious
Mac.
is like when you go there, J Mac. Whenever you go, that's his rap name. Whenever you go there, like he's just there. Like Katie was blown away at the fact that like he'll just be in the store and he'll be like, "Hey, has anybody helped you? Like, do you need help?" And
Yeah,
she's like, "That's weird because he's like a celebrity." I'm like, "But is he really? Like, I mean, he is, but he's not. You know?"
I mean he's a Houston celebrity, but yeah, he was just like I met him when we went there. I remember like shaking his
Mm.
hand. He was just like, "Hey, y'all need any help?"
Oh, so
Just
real quick
chilling.
back to it. They were just like, how could he be that great over furniture? And I was like, well, he has the philanthropies. He really does support the city, right? Obviously, even when it comes down to being on someone else's turf. Um, but also, I was like, dude, his pitch is like what makes Houston great and what makes America great, right? It's made in America, hardwood furniture, lasts forever, no back order slips, and gallery furniture saves you money, deliver today. Like,
Yeah,
tell me what doesn't speak to the average, which I don't think that the furniture really is for middle class. It's kind of pricey, but it does last forever. But like made in America, hardwood, you get it today, no back orders, trying to save you money. Like he is the perfect pitch for anything. He could be selling water bottles, but if that was the case, it would win. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Right. It's everything that America wants in an advertisement in a
Ex-
furniture place.
exactly. Um so anyways, yeah, I just had to explain that, and then the folks from Minnesota were like, "Well, we've got the My Pillow guy, which is really cool." But also he comes from the same past. It's like him and Jim cut from the same cloth. They had their demons that forced them into philanthropy, and then they established multi-million-dollar companies. So maybe what it is you got to start off real rough if you're gonna climb real high.
Maybe let's not suggest that though, you know?
No, I mean I would never promote that, but like it seems to be pretty successful. You know?
Yeah, it depends. Depends on how depends on if you get out of it or not, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, I would like to see the stats on that. Maybe it's because those are the only stories that we share. There's a lot of people that say status quo and then just take off, but nobody wants to read those books.
Yeah,
Oh, he
right.
was a pretty good performer. I mean, worked hard and
Oh
made
yeah.
great money.
Oh, oh yeah, he played JV baseball in high school. He was pretty much AB student growing up. Went
Yeah,
to college, got like a 2.9, 3.0.
I mean, it was community first, but he transferred in, like just generic stories.
Got his
And now he's
associates, then came in.
Yeah, nobody's gonna read that book, but they were like, yeah, they found him in some back alley,
But what really set
super
him
dehydrated.
apart, what really set him apart was that he was a god at intramural flag football. Flag football. He met some great people, made some connections, and now look at him.
There's no way the Boom and Betties would have went to intramural state 6 years in a row, right? Because his college career took forever. 6 years in a row without that cat. Yeah,
They lost all 6 years, but that doesn't matter. What
but
matters
Boom.
is the heart. Oh,
Actually, what we're chalking that guy up to be is that guy that still believes in the Boom and Betties. He's like in his late 40s right now, but he still hits the intramural field with everybody else. You guys getting down on some ultimate frisbee today? Aren't you supposed to be at
Yeah,
work? I took off.
I figured y'all had a game today, so
Yeah.
I called in. I can do that. I get PTO.
So here's the thing. What we're proving is that the average person stays lame. You gotta start low, climb high, or you're just gifted with height. But I don't think, and I don't mean stacked wise. I mean just like, wealth.
Yeah, we kind of took that story and what it was supposed to be and just turned it into an average Joe story again.
Well, actually, what I did is prove that you got to be low before you can get high, and you were like, no, there's an average Joe story, and then our average Joe story became the average Joe for life story. So point
Yeah.
proven. That's what happened.
The funny part is a lot of people's low is getting high.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm using the terms very loosely. I don't mean physically. I mean like wealth wise. You got to hit your
Right.
low. Well, I guess your low could be related to drugs. As with Mattress Mack and the My Pillow guy. What's that guy's name? He doesn't do a very good job of branding his name.
I don't know. I don't know his name. Bought a pillow from him, but I don't know him.
Yeah, I mean, good product, good product. I don't know if I buy into the sheets or the throw blankets, but
I don't. I didn't even know they made those. Pillow's nice. It's nice and fluffy. I'll give it that.
I also don't know. We're way off on a tangent. I'm gonna grab a beer so that we can recollect ourselves. But also, what is it made of? Is it lumps of what?
And it's like memory foam cut up and shoved into a like a pillow form. So it's supposed to be able to, I guess, like get more air in it and stay cooler, which it does. I mean, it works pretty well. But after, I mean, I had it for like 2 years. I think I used it for two, maybe 3 years, and it just started kind of thinning out on me a little bit. I guess just because it was getting old. I don't know
Yeah,
what
I
like
mean,
the guarantees are on it or anything, but it still stayed pretty cool though.
are they made in America?
You know what? I don't know.
Do they ship same day?
I think so. Mine did whenever I ordered it.
When's the last time that you think somebody got a back order slip? You see what I'm saying? Dude, branding is perfect.
Incredible. It's just because he goes so hard for the city, man. That's what it is. Like
Yeah, so I
the
was
whole reason that was good PR is because he was back in the city or back in the team up from all the trash, man. All the trash
well,
talk.
one other thing though is does he
Pun
do that? So
intended.
I don't necessarily follow his connection to so again, maybe this makes me a terrible Houstonian. Baseball's my thing, but I mean, does he do the same thing for the not gambling wise, but does he have very similar support for like the Rockets? I don't think the city would blame him if he didn't
Nah,
support the Texans, but
no. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if he necessarily had a lot of support in favor of the Astros until 7 years ago. You know what I mean? I mean, up until that point, we were pretty bad.
no, I think honestly he has like he's been connected. I mean,
Well, I
maybe
mean,
not.
like, I mean, like, in the sense of like riding so hard for them. You know what I mean? Like, he probably supported them, but he wasn't like gambling away all his profits and the fact that they were going to
Oh,
win the World Series, and like
well,
hyping them up and stuff like that.
well, for sure. I mean, he's a gambler. Like he's gonna look at odds before he puts money in that basket. But yeah.
Right. But I'm just saying, I don't ever remember seeing him riding so hard for them until 2017, or maybe 2016 after, but we didn't even go to the playoffs that year. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just so funny that this seems like second. It's just so weird to me that that's second nature to like, yeah, it's Mattress Mack, right? And even before the Astros tie-in, like, oh, it's just Mattress Mack. But other people don't get. They're like, okay, wait, so there's this guy, but he's
Well, and it's
like,
also
you
it's
know what
also like, I mean, he is our celebrity, right? Like you're saying,
I
like
mean?
he's a Houston celebrity, and like we have other celebrities in the sense of like hard like Houston rap stuff. Like they all go to the games and stuff like that, and like other
Yeah, like
athletes go.
like Paul Wall. Come on, you can
Yeah,
say it.
and like Bun B and all those guys. But like you're not gonna go to an Astros game on a regular day and see like Chris Pratt sitting in the stands like you would at a Dodgers game,
Yeah.
or like I mean I can't even think of New York. There's so many, or like with the Phillies, there was like Miles Teller was at all of the home games. There was other people's too, but he was like the big celebrity from Philly, and like we don't Houston doesn't have like a huge celebrity from Houston that go went to all the games. You know what I mean?
Dude, you know what? You know what's
So
crazy?
Mattress Mack was our celebrity.
I bet you that Mattress Mack's net worth is close to that of Chris Pratt's. You think?
Probably. I don't know. Figure it out.
Yeah, I'm about to Google that. I think that's worth a Google. Do people still say that or just mom?
I don't even know if mom does.
Oh God, has it been that long? Mattress Mac Network. Oh my God, what would you think it is?
I don't know. How much is it?
Estimated to be a 350 million.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah. There's no way Chris Seinfeld's more than that. There's no way Chris, I mean less than that. There's no way Chris Pratt is. But I mean, I guess you could throw an oil guy's name in there that's more like the guy that bought that Oxy sign that's out in left field. Yeah, Chris Pratt's only 80, supposedly.
No shot.
So,
Really?
yeah, dude, it sort of says 80 mil.
Man, dude.
That's you know
Actors are getting
why?
into the wrong business, bro.
Yeah, it's because he doesn't just perspire made in America with no back order slips. That's why. You doing a straw switch?
I'm trying.
Oh, you got
I'm trying to get into the
it.
other one. um,
Hands off my liney, baby.
all right, man. So have you gotten your McRib?
Okay, so I have not gotten my McRib, but I'm starting to believe the hype. Okay, and here's why. I don't know if you've ever seen those screens like at the gas stations, but you know the ones that try to sell you stuff at the pump that you don't need. Have you ever seen those?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Also, they scare the shit out of you because they don't start until you officially like get it clicked in, and it's like, "Hello," and you're like, "What? Don't sneak up on me like that." Anyways, so I stopped to get gas the other day. Actually, just like yesterday, and there was a McRib commercial, and it was like, "Do you want to tell your?" It was actually very clever. It was like, "Do you want to tell your grandchildren that you missed the opportunity for the sticky, like whatever, savory flavors of the McRib? 14 days, people, 14 days." And so I really started to believe it because it's a hell of a marketing campaign. And maybe they, like I said, I was also convinced that they made, just way too, they thought this was going to take off and they made way too many of these patties. And then they just like keep them frozen and just, they're going to burn them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyways, whatever they're doing, they've really. I thought that that they were going to ease up on the campaign of it's going to be over, but they've really stuck to it to where like I don't know what to believe anymore. So I'm gonna go get one. I also saw this. I also saw this meme that was like
Yeah.
the McRib stays gone just long enough for me to forget how terrible it really is. So I have to try it every year.
That's the thing, bro. Every time. That's like with almost, well, it's almost with any seasonal thing, really, or annual thing.
Yeah, I think now people need to go get it. I mean, just because I don't want to take a risk, but also it's not like I don't know, it's not so terrible that I don't ever want it again.
I
It's not good
legit,
enough to be a mainstay.
I legit think about going and getting one, and my stomach starts to tell me no.
It's not.
Like, are you sure, bro? Are you sure? So it's gonna have to be one of those days where I'm like, you know what? I don't care if my stomach gets messed up. Let's get it.
It's not the pork for me or the barbecue sauce, which is terrible,
For me, I think
or
it's the
the
barbecue sauce. Really, it's not the pork. It's the sauce that's on it.
no, dude, it's the bun. I don't know how they are consistent. I don't know how every single McRib bun can be pre-stale. I don't understand that. You ever notice
It's
that?
because they're keeping them frozen, man. They're keeping them frozen every each year, bro. They don't
Because
serve anything else that long.
they manufactured every one of them in 1987, and they're
Mm,
just pulling them off the racks.
yeah, they've just been in a hyperbolic chamber, freezing chamber for 2 decades, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm telling you, the hype's starting to scare me. I'm getting a little bit of an anxiety because I don't want to be able to tell. Like, I don't remember exactly what a McRib tastes like,
Well, I
but
think I think the kids need to try one.
yeah, and honestly, that's a good. I mean, not that a 3-year-old's gonna buy it, but that's a good selling point. Immediately, Elliot would be like, "Absolutely not." But then I could be like,
Finley might give it
"Listen,
a
this
bite.
is a yeah, oh yeah, he'll give it a nibble if it's got barbecue sauce on it." But she'll be like, "No, I don't want it." And I'm gonna be like, "This is a once in a lifetime. Like, you don't have to like it, but you need to try it because you'll never have it again." And then McDonald's will make me a liar, and I'm okay with that. She's a child. It's fine.
She won't remember it. Actually,
No,
knowing her,
I
she
lie to them
probably
on
will.
maybe so, but I lie to them on the daily. You have to. That's how you raise kids.
Right. That's how we're all raised.
Another good stand-up comedian. I can't think of who it is, but another good stand-up comedian that was like, "You guys really believe the government tells you the truth about everything?" Have you seen this clip?
I think so, but
And
go
he's
through
like,
it.
"They have the responsibility of every single American. I have the responsibility of 2 children, and I lie to them
Oh,
constantly."
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I
You
was
think
like, "That's
everything they're telling us is true? Nah.
yeah, that's fairly accurate."
It is pretty true. I have no responsibilities except a dog, and that's not even really my responsibility. That's just something I signed up
Oh,
for, and I
you
lie to
know what?
her all the time.
You know what she deserves?
What?
A McRib. That's what
Uh,
she
hey,
deserves.
tomorrow's her birthday.
Really?
Maybe we go get her a McRib, see what happens.
Oh, dude, and it's not even inappropriate to stick a candle in that. But the candle should be made out of one of those mouth the little greenies.
Yeah, a little greeny candle.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because I mean, not that you're gonna freshen breath after all of that fake pork, barbecue sauce, and onions on a stale bun.
I don't know if that's a
Imagine,
great idea for a dog.
imagine if that was the marketing. They do the Big Mac, two all beef patties and then the sesame seed bun. If they were just like sizzling pork, luscious sweet barbecue sauce, home, in store sliced onions, all on a 1987 stale as shit bun. Like
All on a stiff, stale sesame seed bun.
all on a stiff hoagie. Why was our school calling them hoagies? We are not even remotely close to the Northeast. Is that
Yeah,
what
but
does it call them?
I thought it was hoagie bread.
No, dude, that's just what you call it. Like there's a sub sandwich, there's a submarine sandwich, there's a hoagie, and then they call it something else too. I don't know.
Is
There's
it
one other
called
thing.
is it called a submarine sandwich because of the shape of it? Or is it because maybe it endures high pressure in a submarine better?
I'm gonna probably say the first. I don't know who's checking
I'm just saying
the
these are questions that need to be asked, you know?
Jesus Christ, I think you're the only person that would have thought, like, why is that what you thought of? Okay, real quickly, when do you think that any type of Navy or I guess anyone using a submarine was like, I'd love to go down, but you know what I don't have? A, s- a sandwich
Well,
that can hold up to the pressures of being submerged underwater.
I mean, let's
Like,
think
what?
about it, right? Like think about a regular piece of white bread. Get that thing soggy and let me see how structurally and sound that thing is.
Okay, maybe, but
I'm not saying a sub's gonna be much better, but it's got to be better than a white piece of white bread, you know?
uh it's said to have come from Connecticut, where it was originally called a grinder. That's the other thing. So a grinder is a hoagie and then a sub. It became a sub because of the sandwich's uncanny resemblance to the submarines that were in the naval yard near.
Okay, so it
So
was
it's
the
a res
submarines.
it's a resemblance. However, I think if we went into Wikipedia right now, we could sell your idea and they would buy it. You know what I mean? Wikipedia, we can change whatever we want, dude.
We can change history right now.
There's gonna be
You
some
know,
poor kid.
doing
in
a doing a
Connecticut.
doing a research project on
Yeah.
sub sandwiches.
Just building a PowerPoint, and he's going to be like, yeah, it's because of the way that it can survive when underwater. And they're going to be like, no, it was the naval ships. And he was like, Wiki said it, prove me wrong,
And
you
then
know?
the teacher's gonna be like, "You used Wikipedia, didn't you? You know you're not supposed
Yeah.
to do that."
Ooh, that's a good point, dude. You know what? Teachers should start planting some just crazy ideas in Wiki to see if their students are using them for reference.
When they get their students topic ideas, just go into those topics on Wikipedia and plant some seeds.
Wow. That's crazy. And it wouldn't even have to be, to be honest with you, it wouldn't even have to be like crazy concepts. It could also just be like straight up to protect against perjury, right? So like the way that the sentence is structured, just change the way the sentence is structured. And if it like you change it to be like this, maybe grammatically incorrect or just the phrasing of it, and if that shows up exactly in their paper, you know they pulled it from Wiki.
Yeah, the students are out here playing checkers and the teachers are playing chess,
That's right.
thinking 7 moves ahead right now.
That's also a lot of work for a teacher that's probably already overwhelmed. But the concept is great, though, if
Yeah,
you think about it.
it's a cool idea, but
Yeah.
also teachers do enough as it is. So, oh man,
Speaking of what I think some may consider, none consider, to be, a teacher of generations, let's talk a little bit about Dr. Seuss, okay? Because
okay,
I have some issues here. Love to read the books to the kids, although I will say length is a little bit of a problem. I'm not saying that I give up on I only want easy books, but they're a little bit lengthy sometimes for what we want to accomplish. But considering they came out in the 50s, it's not like they had anything else relevant to do. It's not like they were
right,
trying to rush off to record a podcast or rush off to watch television or just be relevant in society. Shout out to all the 50s folks. But
right.
anyways, they're a little bit lengthy, but other than that, like dude, we just trusted Dr. Seuss, and obviously, based on what he wrote and the way that they were illustrated, probably not a trustworthy individual. You know?
Yeah, man, there's some questionable things going on. Um, I couldn't tell you a lot other than like the uh, green eggs and ham stuff, like his more popular stuff. But even the different Dr. Seuss movies that have come out, I'm like, ooh, man, there's some very questionable art going on in these things.
Well, it's not
Uh,
even. It's not so much the art, but it's just like the story. Like I know we have to educate the kids, like fun or whatever along the way, and I like the stories because I chuckle about them a little bit. But like this guy wasn't reinventing the wheel. He was just like, all right, what are 3 words that rhyme? Okay, all right, all right. We got a box, we got a fox,
we got some socks.
and we got socks. Right, we're gonna put them in a bathtub. I'll get back to the bathtub later, but fox, socks, bathtub, got it right. And then
Yeah,
just that's what came off the tongue, and people are like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's Sam. Yeah, he's gonna eat that ham. Oh yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
And that's Sam I am. He's gonna eat the hell out of that ham too.
Nobody
Green
questioned the
eggs
green
and the
eggs.
ham.
Yeah.
Nobody questioned the green
Uh,
eggs, which I always growing up listening to that, I was always like, what the heck are green eggs? Is that a thing?
I don't know. We
I
made them
feel
one time in school.
see we never made them, but I feel like it should be a St. Patrick's Day thing, you know. Green eggs and
Yeah,
green beer.
they also
Let's
never
really
ref.
get the guts bubbling.
These bubble guts need some eggs.
Just
Um,
some eggs and ham.
I also don't understand. Like, they don't ever reference, are they green because they're no good, or are they green because I don't know. Here's the other thing too. I don't know if this is other people. I have 2 comments that I want to make on this. I don't know if other people do this, but personally, every time I open a Dr. Seuss book, I personally challenge myself to see how quickly I can read all of the lines in it. Just because, like, half of them rhyme. You also get confused, and, like, he talks backwards but forwards a lot of times. And so it's just like after you read one page, you're like, I wonder if I could read the rest of this really quick. That's going to be hard. And so I'm always like sprinting through them, which helps because they're like super long and they take like 15 minutes. But anyway, so that's a personal challenge. I'd like to know if anyone else does that. The
Well, I mean,
second thing
I can tell
is,
you that I like to wrap them or try to wrap them.
ooh, that's a new spin.
You know, throw a
I
little
mean,
bead in there. Oh, he's
he
got some flow to him.
dude, he's got some hitters out there. Fox and Socks could be a hit, son.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know about the more lengthier ones, but the shorter ones, yeah, those are
What's
killer.
the one about? Isn't there like a Myrtle the turtle or something?
Yeah, and then like all the Horton books and all that.
That's
He wrote a bunch of stuff. I think also come to find out he was like a terrible person, but it kind of, I
also
mean,
not even a doctor. Just straight lied to us.
I mean, I mean, yeah, that's unfair to think that we paid that for those writings. And
Like
okay,
I
first off, I don't know a single doctor that's writing those types of things. If he got away with a thesis that was that,
yeah.
obviously he's not a doctor.
Right.
Um, the other thing is this, man. I would actually like to start a YouTube channel. Tell me if this makes sense or if this would actually be a good idea. I want to start a YouTube channel where I just read children's books but like to an audience, right?
Like to
And
the
then that's
camera or to a live audience?
no, like to the camera, right? And it does a couple of things, I think. One, kids get a ridiculous amount of screen time these days. And that, there's restrictions you can have. There's like YouTube Kids, there's like restrictions or whatever. And it'd be great to have someone that was like it's great to have a book read to you, right? Like you're on a road trip,
Yeah. It's like
someone's
audiobook.
reading it's like audiobooks, but like there's also a person there. I think there's a little bit of there's a play on that. There's an interaction, even though there's not an interaction.
Right.
Plus, I just liked. I feel like this sounds stupid, but like I feel accomplished when I read children's books. Like it's fun, dude. You throw in some voices, you speed up, you do a little Zeus rapping, Zeus. You do a little Zeus rapping, you know.
Yeah. Come down with a
I,
bolt of lightning, lay it down on
no,
someone
no,
real
no,
quick.
no, no. Yeah, one's a doctor, one's a god, and one's not even really a doctor, so big difference.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that would be my idea, man. Just read some children's books, and like you could have guest people in. So like, if there was a lot of back and forth in the characters, you could have another person that was, the other character, whatever. Just saying, dude. I think it'd be cool, and you could also reference it. Like if you have questions about books, like, hey, I've never heard this book before, or I don't know if this is a good book. Like, would my kids enjoy that? You could go and watch it, and somebody would read it to you, and you wouldn't necessarily have to go seek it out.
Yeah. Have you looked and seen if anybody else has done this on YouTube?
No, I haven't. So I don't even know. I mean, there's a good chance. There's a lot of children's content out there, obviously, now that you can have the subdivides between, regular content and children applicable. But I don't know. I don't know if anybody would revert back to just reading books to children on YouTube.
Because it reminds me a lot about that guy that does like uh like teaches kids what their dad should teach them, you know? Like
Never seen that.
yeah, there's this guy that does like a bunch of random videos like how to tie a tie, you know?
Hmm.
And it's like to teach your son how to tie a tie, but it's made for kids that like don't have that dad figure in their life so that they can like have somebody teach them stuff still.
Yeah, that's a lot more useful than somebody reading children's books. I think I'm just going to keep mine in the
I don't
cupboard.
know. I don't know. I mean, you would think so, but I feel like I feel like reading books to kids is also pretty useful. I mean, think about a
It is.
parent just being able to build a playlist real quick,
Yeah, I
throw it on
know,
the TV.
but then ultimately, like deep down inside, my thought is like, read to your kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's definitely the big thought. But you know, there's people that just don't, sadly, and won't. So
Yeah, I guess that's
there'd
the
be an
case.
audience for it. Also, the one thing that I think would be awkward for me to do in that situation is you would have to build a character. Like you can't just be you reading the book, you know. You have
You
to be
think?
like, yeah, you got to be like, like a Wiggle or something, you know, like one of the Wiggles guys or
Yeah,
whatever.
I feel you.
Like you got to have the kid energy and stuff, and that just seems absolutely horrifyingly tiring.
Okay, you say that, but like here, that's again, maybe that's what makes me different is like the fact that parents aren't. What's the guy? and he's like super popular. But what's the guy that does the? I don't know. There's like a guy that's a YouTube sensation for kids, and he is like a very weird character, but he like has this shenanigans that he does and teaches kids stuff, and like it is probably good content, but he's just a really weird guy. I'll have to Google it, but I think parents are turned off by him. Like parents are like, "Oh God, we got to look at like we got to do this guy again." But
Yeah.
the kids like it. But if it was just like some just generic dude in like a high life shirt with a ball cap on that was reading, you know, Dr. Seuss, the Cat in the Hat comes back, like something like
I,
that.
I,
The parents might be a little more open to it. Obviously, I might not keep the kids intrigued, but they would need to give me a listen for a while. My characters are good. My characters are good.
right. And the description of the video is where you link the podcast so that the adults can have something to listen to.
Yeah. Oh, if you got, I don't know if that's the algorithm. If the algorithm works like that. If you like Fox on Socks and Cat in the Hat comes back, come listen to us drink beer and bullshit. Like I don't know if that.
Come listen to
You
episode 35 of Off the Taff.
you do you do the straight up YouTube disclaimer where it's like I'm gonna drop the link in the description to just some grade A shenanigans.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
You should check out our other channel, Beers and Bullshit.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know
anyways,
much. I mean, the one. I mean, I guess the biggest Dr. Seuss thing is the Cat in the Hat, right?
yeah. I
That's probably
mean,
the
obviously,
biggest, one of the biggest stories of him.
actually, I don't know. I remember Googling that, like, we think that's the biggest one, but I think he actually made more of his, like, bucks off of the Hortons and all that.
One, yeah, yeah,
Did he do the Grinch?
yes. It's Dr. Seuss's The Grinch.
Okay, well then, yeah, I would say the Grinch at this point. Like, that's got to be in a ton of different languages and like shit like
Yeah,
that.
that's
Not that
probably
the
his
Cat in the
biggest
Hat
thing.
isn't. You ever think about
Well,
a
I mean, the whole story of the Cat in the Hat is just one of the weirdest kind of low key perverted stories of all time. Like, he's not a necessarily like a pervert or anything, but he's just like in the house with these kids while their parents are gone and like
Yeah,
doing crazy stuff with them. Like that's just kind of super odd. That I mean, that movie, like the movie with Mike Myers,
yeah.
was like a staple of my childhood. You know?
See, I think we've talked about this before. I don't think I've ever fully seen it. I'm not against it. But that
Oh
had the
man.
little fat kid in it that was also in The Rookie, right? You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. He had like a little run right there as a young kid. I mean, I'd like to Google. I'm gonna have to look at him now. That's
He was
that's a
in a
new
few
thing.
things. He was in a few things, and the his sister was too. I forget what else they were in, but
Is that a thing that you do now? Do you do like I find myself doing that all the time. I'm just like, yeah,
looking up kid
Macaulay,
actors.
yeah, Macaulay Culkin. What's that cat up to? Like, just things
Oh
like
man,
that.
he's weird, man.
Yeah,
He's a
but I
weirdo,
mean,
huh?
I also did not know. We're way off topic. Let's get back to the Cat in the Hat in a minute, because I'm gonna find out who the chunky kid was that made a good run in the early 2000s. Spencer Breslin actually is his name. But oh, listen to you. Yeah, his sister was Dakota Fanning. So yeah, I think she did okay.
Yeah. What else was she in?
All kinds of things.
Yeah, I know she was in like a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, she was in Man on Fire, I Am Sam, War of the Worlds, Caroline, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Uptown Girls,
She was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
for show, but she's just grown.
Huh.
Charlotte's Web, Hide and Seek, Brimstone, the movie cover.
So
Listen, I know you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but you can judge a movie by its case. Which is weird to say. People are gonna be like, "What do you mean the case? You
yeah,
mean the thumbnail art?"
you mean
But you know
yeah,
what I mean.
exactly. Yes, that's what it is now. Yeah, no, War of the Worlds is the one I saw her in most recently. Because, well, I mean, I watched it was on like Netflix or something, and I watched it in like June, and I was like, hey, that's the Cat and Hat girl.
So what's also fun? I mean, dude, Man on Fire was bigger than Cat in the Hat,
Oh yeah,
but
by far. I was
but
just saying she did a bunch of stuff in that time.
um I also I was gonna say that I think that no, that can't be the case.
What?
Um, I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some more digging on her, but yeah, this dude's name is Spencer Breslin, and I don't know what he's doing now or if he's doing anything else. But yeah, he was just that cool, chunky kid. He was in Spy Kids, wasn't he?
I don't know. I don't think so. Not that I remember.
Nah, I could be wrong. Anyways, what were we even talking about? Oh, Cat in the Hat. Um, yeah, it's a little creepy, but all of his stuff was a little creepy. But dude, it was the 50s. Like there were so many things. Like there, people were just like, ah, it is what it is. First off, there's a Cat in the Hat too, and the kids at the very beginning of the book, they have it right. They tried not to invite him back in because it was straight shenanigans the first time.
Yeah.
But they did it anyways. That sneaky cat, he has a way of sneaking right in there. Um, I
I
as a
don't
kid
ever
didn't
remember the
watch.
second one.
Oh well, there's not a second movie, but there's a second book.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was a book though.
And it's more ABCs related. He brings a bunch of cats that have letters to clean up some pink snow. It's not a great read, but it's short. For like a regular book, long for a kid's book. Um, but yeah, I didn't really ever watch it. I don't think I've watched it all the way through.
I mean, to me, it's still just hilarious because it's Mike Myers, and I love Mike Myers. Because even
Yeah,
though it's like a children's movie, it's still very much his comedy that he exudes in it. You know,
which I did start the Pentaverate, but I haven't
the Pentaverate.
watched Pentaverate. Excuse me. I have started the Pentaverate, and I've watched a couple episodes, but I haven't stuck with it. Like I'll go back and continue. Like I still enjoy it, but I don't have a lot of time for TV. The other thing um, is I don't know. I don't feel that like I miss that era. I guess a little bit.
Like the
Like
two
his
thousands,
Yeah, like there was a bunch of shit movies,
like late
obviously during.
'90s, early 2000s.
There's a bunch of terrible movies then, but like they were doing like the Cat in the Hat live action, dude, that's crazy. We went from writing in 1950 or whatever, 50 early 50s to 2003 for Cat in the Hat live action. Come
Yeah,
on.
kind of looking back at it, it was kind of one of like the first live action kid tales brought to life, right?
Yeah, did they Yeah, I
Because
mean
like
they
now
did that.
Disney is doing it with all their classics, but like,
Well, The Grinch was after that, right?
ooh,
With
I don't
Jim
know.
Carrey. I
I
don't
don't
know,
know.
we're
I
gonna
need
have
to
to
figure
Google
that one
that.
out
There was
because
something
they
else I
were
was
they
gonna
were
say.
pretty close together, I think.
Yeah.
Like I would say almost 1 year after like 1 year later. I could be wrong, but
Um, Also, then there's the new one too.
oh, the new Grinch, the animated one.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was okay.
it's okay.
It's just not the same after you grow up with Jim Carrey Grinch.
No, I agree. This is gonna blow your mind, dude. When do you think How the Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey came out?
I would have said 2001.
2000. And Cat in the Hat wasn't until 2003.
So 3 year difference.
Yeah, but still, he's just doing them in order, right? The Grinch is his heavy hitter. Number two was Cat in the Hat. But either way, they were doing a lot of things then. I don't know how we got way off topic on this, but they were doing a lot of things with heavy I mean with live action animation in the early 90s. I
The
mean early
people
2000s.
that did the Dr. Seuss movies really loved Jim Carrey because they brought him back on to do Horton Hears a Who.
You mean Ron Howard? Cuz let's think about that for a second. Ron Howard directed The Grinch. The Ronnie Howard.
Like how the Grinch Stole Christmas, like with Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Opie. You know, the Opster,
The OG.
Andy's wee one.
Hey, you know
But yeah,
they're doing another Christmas story.
I saw that for a second, dude. I thought you were gonna say another Andy Griffith show, and I was like, bullshit. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'll give you a Christmas story. That's fine.
Yeah, it's like him later in life or whatever.
So now he's the father that's going after the Turk. Like, is it his family?
I don't necessarily know if he's a father or not, but he's like grown up and goes to see his mom. His dad has passed away.
Mm.
It's like that kind of thing. I don't know. I think he's married, but I don't know if they have kids or not. I didn't
Are
get to
the
see that much in the trailer.
are there? Oh, so there is a trailer.
Oh yeah, it comes out this December, I think.
Holy cow, bro! That dude's been camping on that movie for his whole life.
Dude, right? It's pretty crazy. I mean, the Christmas story has been, or a Christmas story has been a Christmas staple in our house forever. Literally, it doesn't change off of TBS on Christmas Day for 24 hours.
Yeah, I know that one pretty much inside and outside. It does take probably half a day to see the whole thing, though. You know,
Yeah,
just in the chunks.
right. Because you sit, it's like when you're sitting down to eat. You wake up in the morning, it's on. You're eating breakfast. You get the first chunk. Actually, most of the time you get like the end chunk at that time, and then
Yeah,
you wrap back around. And at lunch you get the beginning, and then at dinner you catch the middle, and then it's Sunday night football.
I also like getting real serious about it because there is a point in the day where I'm like, all right, everybody, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna watch this, and you never do. You
No,
know.
when you got too much people going, there's no sitting down to watch.
So that being said, where are you at on scores?
Man, I have almost given this thing a straight up five across the table.
Okay, I am pretty darn close.
I've got a five at entry, a five at aftertaste, a five at body, a four on color, a four on bitterness, a four on acidity, and a five on fizz
I have
for a
a,
total of 32.
excuse me, I'm gonna have to add this all together. Are you keeping track of these, by the way?
Yes,
Thank God. Even mine?
yes.
Are you
Well,
lying?
well, I've got your totals down. I don't have your individual ones down.
Oh, that's fine. So I have yeah, as long as you got my totals. So I have a five on entry, a five on aftertaste, a five on body, a four on color. And by the way, everyone needs to realize that I'm pretty hard even on my own scale because there's no such thing as a perfect beer.
Yeah.
Um, but that was a four on color, four on bitterness, four on acidity, and five on fizz for a total of 32
So
points.
we're exactly the same on this one.
Exact for every single category?
Yep, number for number and total. Obviously,
So
for number.
a five on entry, a five on aftertaste, five on body, a four on color, four on bitterness, four on acidity, five on fizz.
Yep.
Wow.
There we go.
And
We got
by
a
the
we got a first on that one.
and I filled mine out probably 45 minutes ago.
I filled mine out about four sips into the first bottle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I,
It's
I filled out like the first three, and then when I finished the first one, I filled out the rest. So, say about 30 minutes ago when I
dude, I
finished
wonder
it.
one thing that I'll include here is like, do we think that the like we proved in Oktoberfest that we kind of have a little bit different like we were close. Like we both liked certain things, but we both disliked at least one thing unanimously. Mhm. But our scales were slightly off. Do we think that because I'm also a Bach drink, like I'm programmed to like Bachs, do we think that's like hereditary? Like, do you think let's say we were to do a lot more Bachs, would we be closer and more accurate to each of our scores because we both favor Bachs?
I mean,
Does that make
maybe. I
sense?
think, I think a big thing is our scales on the Oktoberfest were different because we had different favorites in Oktoberfests.
Mm.
You know, you're comparing yours to the Sam Adams. I'm comparing mine to the St. Arnold's. And I know just from experience with drinking with you, being around you, that you also like the Crawford Bock. We're big fans of Shiner, Ziegenbach
Yeah.
as well. So I mean, yeah, it could very well be hereditary.
Well,
You know,
that, but and also it could be hereditary, but it could also be the favorite part too. Like maybe because box are something that we seek out that are like a staple that are our favorite genre. We're a little tighter with accuracy as far as like interpretation.
this also could just be a fluke, and we got lucky that we got this close.
Yeah, there could be. And also, it could be because we weren't expecting to be awed by the Leinenkugel. I'm not going to lie, man. I kind of, when I saw it, like, I don't remember how we picked it out, like when we decided we were going to do it, but I kind of looked at it like, oh, we'll throw a liney in there, just to see. Like, they're solid, but this kind of fortifies the brand for me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, this expands them outside of the shandy zone. Obviously, their
Yeah.
Oktoberfest was good too, but this
Hmm.
gives me a whole new thought for a liney.
I think it's limited exposure. I'm batting, like, again, not talking about too much because, I got to represent Texas, but I'm batting 1,000 with Leinenkugel. Like when I think of a shandy, I think of Leinenkugel only. When
I agree.
you know, and when we talk about Oktoberfest, it was a damn good Oktoberfest. Like I said, it's Katie's favorite. She doesn't seek it out, but it's one thing that she will drink. And then we pick up the Bach. 32 might as well be 100. Like that's great. It's a great success story. So Leinenkugel's batting 1,000 for me. I haven't had all of them. They got some like they got a strawberry. We got to find a fruity and see how it does. I'm not a big fruity fan, but we got to see how a fruity performs. If the
Yeah,
fruity lives up to my low expectations, Lion Kugel's onto something.
yeah, that's true. All right, well, we're getting to the end of the episode here, so don't forget to follow us on socials on Twitter at Off the Tap Pod and on Instagram at Off the Tap Podcast. And don't ever forget World Series champs, baby, 2 time. Can't take them both away from us now, right? We solidified it
Abs-
at this point.
Absolutely not. And in fact, I'm gonna just for the sake of the World Series, we're gonna change the sign off to now. Um, the H brought it back.